Stories about vehicles rescued from neglect always pique the interest of us car people. We love to hear about someone that devotes their time, effort, and abundant amounts of energy to bring a unique car back to its former splendor. I met up with Maynard, who owns this beautiful 1968 American Motors AMX, and he has certainly done a fantastic job of preserving it for the future.
They were thinking originally of going with fiberglass for the car, but they couldn't get it structurally strong enough.
Yeah.
So they were experts at unibody.
Yeah.
And so all American Motors are unibody.
Yeah.
So they just made it up. We'll just take do what we know how to do best. Here's how I looked at this very car in 1997, and it looked okay in the picture, but up close it wasn't that great. Here is a picture of the previous owner racing it in '04.
Nice.
And here's how we found it. Basically, a guy's driveway in the woods under a bunch of tarps. Rust in the car. If up north, you would know it. So it's from this area, and this was out in Goodview, is where the previous owner had it.
Okay.
But it's been around this area, Western Virginia, most of his life, best I can tell. When I saw the car back in 1997, it had a cheap paint job on it. It looked kind of bad, and at the time, my family was growing, didn't have the time, garage, resources to really fix it right. And so the previous owner basically kept that same paint job that was on it. And it was not a great paint job at all. And so for about a year, got it mechanically sound, rebuilt the upper end of the engine, and got it where it was safe and reliable, and where I can make a decision on what I want to do with the car. And realizing it needed a full restoration to do it right, or just leave it as is.
Did he have to do much extensive body work on it?
The body itself was in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
The worst rust on the car, was around the rear window. You normally don't think about, okay, the rear window rust. You think of, quarter panel rust, fender rust, door rust. But the worst rust was around the rear window. Basically because it sat under a bunch of tarps.
Oh.
And the moisture got there and couldn't evaporate. And therefore, it finds a way out. And so we had to fabricate about 95% of the rear window channel.
So am I correct in that they only made these 2 years?
Well, the two-seaters were 3 years.
Okay.
68, 69, and 70.
Okay.
And they made 6,725 of them in 1968, the first year. They made over 8,000 the second year, and only 4,000 the third year.
When you take it out, do even people know what it is?
Some people do. Those who are maybe around, who are teenagers in the 60s or 70s, or those who...
Or they're family-owned at AMC dealership.
Yeah. And kind of the way I got it is, I call it genetic. My dad collects Nashes and Hudsons, which merged to form AMC. So he has Nashes,
Right.
Hudsons, and AMCs. So this is kind of what I know. I'm really familiar with them.
Did you have a plan for it when you got it? Did you know everything that you wanted to do to it, or was it just sort of out of necessity, part of it? And
Well, before I buy any car, I always have to have a plan for it. Otherwise, end up with some project that stalls.
it never ends.
And I don't want to do that. So every car I ever consider, I have a plan for it. Is it just going to be a car I drive? Is it going to be a car that I'm going to restore? What am I going to do with this car? And so after I got it reliable and safe, I realized it needed a full restoration. And I talked to my brother even before I bought the car. I said, Dave, if I get this car, would you be willing to help me with the restoration? Because if he said no up front, I'd say no. I couldn't afford to take this to a restoration shop and pay 6 figures to have it restored. I just can't. So he was kind of the key to this whole thing. And I give my brother Dave credit for most of the work.
Does he 390 factory 4-barrel, right?
Yeah, 390. It has. It was rated at 315 horsepower and 425 foot-pounds of torque as it left the factory. This has the dealer-installed R4B intake made by Edelbrock. It has a factory part number on the back of it. So what they did for AMC, instead of slowing down the assembly line, installing fast parts, they would allow the dealers to have all the goodies, and the dealers would install it, order the stuff for you. In fact, they would put the stuff on it for you before you took delivery of the car. So you got it. It's factory approved pieces, and they're under warranty as well. That's the original grille. We had to repair that and fix it and paint it perfectly. So it's the original sheet metal in the car.
Yeah.
Fenders. They don't reproduce fenders for this, so you have to fix what you have.
So do you have any other plans for it as far as modifications or changes or anything like that you want to do to it? Or are you pretty
right now, I just want to get it detailed as best I possibly can, and then take it to the concourse, the Elegance, weekend of May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then if I can just keep it as nice as it is, work on a couple small items, just minor stuff, but no major plans. All the major work, the huge stuff, is done.